We're approaching the time of year when people have to find another way to celebrate the holidays, including different ways to enjoy performances. Because of the pandemic, many performances will be virtual. That includes the third annual International Music Festival scheduled for December 12th and 20th by the locally based Talents of the World and transposed from last year's setting in Carnegie Hall. To tell us about classical Christmas with the Stars, as well as this year's strategy for audience engagement, are two of the performers, bass-baritone Zachary James and mezzo-soprano Maria Maksakova. Thank you very much for being with us. Soprano, I'm sorry about that mezzo there. I want to start with you, Maria. You and Zachary, you both have this background. It's a mixed crossover kind of background, but you've sung in places like, Mariinsky Theater and Carnegie Hall, and here's a Christmas special in a way. Why you want to do this?
Well, it's an absolutely amazing opportunity, especially while the pandemic, unfortunately, goes on. And so, we have performances, but not as much as we would wish to. And when we have a possibility to, somehow replace it, then it has a very big meaning for us, not only for having just the possibility to sing, but also to have viewers, to feel the energy of having an auditorium, not to sing just for oneself, but to have the feeling that we're still going on, that pandemic will hopefully in 2021 will end, and we will return to our normal life. And now this is, I appreciate so much that opportunity, and I'm very grateful to you making that all loud, and to Olga Lisovskaya and to David Binyanidze, who do such a great work to get us all joined, to make the program interesting, to make it really a concert and not only a Zoom performance, which is also sometimes very nice, but it should be really a concert where you would even have the emotions of being in the hall, having an auditorium. And I don't know how it's going to be, but I have my hopes and my views. I think it's going to be very, very interesting.
Zachary, what I'm reading between the lines here is this is not just another concert, not just another holiday concert. This is somehow about speaking to the moment. How will that be reflected in the program?
Yeah, well, we have the opportunity to speak kind of more casually than we might in a Carnegie Hall recital, where we walk out on stage and sing and then bow and leave. This is a more intimate thing because we're being invited into people's homes by doing this virtually. And we get to engage in a different way and hopefully spread some joy and bring some music into people's homes. And in that sense, becomes more accessible, and it's a global event.
Well, one thing I learned from one of your posts about showing up for not for recitals, rather, but for workouts to try out for a part, is that you got to connect with people in the room. This is not just being this opera singer in this big hall that you can barely make out on the stage. How do you connect with people?
Absolutely. I think you just have to be yourself and be vulnerable and honest, and then also say, oh, and I'm also a singer and I'd like to share this song with you. But it's whenever I introduce myself as an opera singer in different forms, oftentimes people have never met an opera singer. So it's an opportunity to engage and introduce classical music to people in new ways.
Maria, what about your idea of introducing people, especially if they're not that familiar with the repertoire?
Well, I had a long experience. I was a TV host on a great TV show for about 8 years, and we had it every Saturday. So actually, I have a slight experience of introducing not only myself but others, and I like it because if you have a chance, not only you really in recitals, you can sometimes talk to the auditorium, but in operas, definitely not. And of course, when you have that contact with people who are listening or watching, you get more intimate, you get more in touch. It's well, it's interesting, really, not to have that border between the audience and yourself. But there are some minuses, of course, because we're not working in a real acoustic, so to say. And that is maybe what we cannot replace at the moment. But I think that if we're going to be brave, honest, and if we will have nice repertoire, which we are already preparing. And I was lucky to get in. I did not only my debut at Traviata, but we did a super professional video on the 24th of September, which is now perfectly done. And I mean, well, everything, it's a big work to do. And so it will be my, so to say, debut, and I'm so happy to do it, because even if I wouldn't be if I would not come to America, if I wouldn't sign the contract, if I wouldn't get the possibility to have American coaches and professors who did Traviata with me, and that is a half-year work, so to say, I will pass an exam because I didn't believe in myself. I used to be a mezzo-soprano, exactly what you said at the beginning, and that's much lower. And so we opened, so to say, the high notes in America, the sopra acuti, the very, very high notes. And we did this recording, and I'm desperately, absolutely, I want to, of course, to show what I've done, because I did not believe in myself, and now I do.
Okay. Zachary, what about the difference in the kind of performance? Because, you know, I know this is not going to be in a big hall. We're all in the same place at the same time, but we are used to looking at music videos, and we love some of them. So isn't that part of what you're going to be applying here?
Yes, absolutely. And in that sense, it brings classical music kind of more into the popular culture, pop music genres. And it's really exciting to create music videos using classical singers. It's something I think we should be doing. And because of this moment, we're being encouraged to do so.
By the way, anything you say right now about what you're going to be performing in this upcoming concert?
Yeah, so I'll be singing popular Christmas songs. I do a lot of, I have a Broadway background before I got into opera. So while I'm a classical singer, I come from Broadway and jazz. And so that's kind of more my home base. And opera was something that was a big challenge for me. So I'll be doing popular Christmas songs.
How did you make that transition? Because you mentioned you started out with musicals, and I saw your clip singing Some Enchanted Evening. You know, I remember going that trajectory in my life as a listener. What got you into opera?
Well, Philip Glass, the composer, cast me in a brand new opera, and I got to go to Madrid and London and Brisbane and do this wonderful opera, and it really changed my life. It was singing with an orchestra without a microphone for the first time, and an 80-piece orchestra instead of a Broadway 10-piece orchestra. And it was a lot of work and really challenging, but I just fell in love with it and started doing opera primarily.
Coming back to Maria, you've done some crossover yourself. I saw your video, you're singing Violetta in La Traviata, but I also saw some pop music. You're singing the song Strong and Proud, Silna y Gorda. What was the difference between those two experiences?
Well, there is a difference, certainly. I was a pianist before I started singing, and so I compose quite a lot of songs myself, and I sing them sometimes. Sometimes I use the songs composed by others, but usually I do it myself. And so this is another way for, especially while the pandemic and while we didn't have the possibility to go on stage, I did more of it. But it's generally a hobby. Because my occupation, my profession is, of course, opera, and my love and the love of my entire life. But that is a hobby which is also sometimes quite popular, and I like it. And it's a way to switch off from one to another and to have fun all the time and not to get bored of something. So, I wouldn't do probably I wouldn't do a pop career, so to say. It's maybe just already too late to do so. And I'm so happy to have the Spotlight Artist Management in America, because before coming to United States, I was really singing a lot of different things, but now I have like a focus, and together with Spotlight, we have a focus about what exactly I'm going to sing the next 5 years, and I'm happy with that. So possibly afterwards, I'll return to the pop stuff.
By the way, anything you can tell me about what you're going to be singing in the performance?
Yes, up. I'm going to sing the Violetta. I'm going to sing La Traviata, which was done. I began with it in December last year, and we worked on it. Well, really long and tough. And I'm happy to get it done, to have the possibility to sing it on stage with orchestra, with a choir, with everyone and on stage, and even with the viewers, not the full audience. Of course, we had only, I think 25% of audience possible, but still we did it, and this we are going to perform.
Zachary, in your career, you've also sung Lurch in the operatic version of The Addams Family. What does that say about the lack of a wall between, highbrow opera and just sheer entertainment?
Yeah, well, it's all just telling a story through music and words. And I did Lurch on Broadway in The Addams Family for 2 years, and then promptly went and did Philip Glass operas. So that wall has come down, and a lot of opera artists are starting to do musicals, and a lot of musical theater artists are now performing on stage at the Metropolitan Opera.
Well, it's easy to think of opera as a way to build technique that you can use on Broadway, but did playing Lurch prepare you for opera too?
Well, in a sense, certainly doing 8 shows a week on Broadway makes you a really tough performer, and it's kind of a very different technique, because in opera, a lot of times, for example, I did Akhenaten at the Metropolitan Opera last season, and we did 8 performances total over 2 months. And on Broadway, we do 8 a week over 2 years. So it's, it's a different technique, and keeps you really fresh as an actor, because you have to make each show a wonderful experience for the audience. So I think in that way, it informs everything.
By the way, speaking of audience engagement here, is there anything that people can look forward to that's other than, let's say, like watching a music video? Will there be some sort of maybe interactive feature in these performances?
I believe so, yeah. I think we will be talking with the audience as best we can, and taking questions, and it'll be very intimate and interactive, and really just coming into people's homes.
Right. Maria, I want to ask you about what you've experienced so far, because I know in this country, a lot of things have been locked down as far as live performances. You've been based lately in Ukraine, before that in Russia mostly. What has it been like for you lately?
I'm sorry, excuse me. It's just because I don't really...
Yes. What has it been like for you lately as far as performance opportunities? Because in this country, we have these lockdowns. There are very few things that you can do. Are you experiencing that as well?
We all have the lockdowns, unfortunately, and of course, people who need the auditorium, who are we're not. I mean, if we would be somewhere, I don't know, in chemistry or in physics or somewhere else where you don't need so much people around, then maybe we wouldn't suffer so much. But of course, a lockdown is always something that that hurts so much for us, especially. By the way, I remembered something else. We have 2 concerts, one on the 12th, the other one on the 20th. And for that concert on the 20th, I wrote a song, well, so to say, pop song, because I'm inspired so much about the flight that is going to be the Artemis, the new flight to the moon that is doing SpaceX, NASA, and Elon Musk, who I love so much. And so I did write a song about that moon journey, and I'm going to put it on the second evening on the 20th. So it's just because I had to say that I am going to perform only opera, but no. Okay.
Finally, if people want more information, there's a website they should go to.
Yes, Talents of the World. Yes.
Okay, well, thank you both very much for taking the time to be with us.
Thank you so much.
That was Zachary James and Maria Maksakova. We'll have more news in just a moment.